questions, what is the objective, what is the hypothesis, and what is the theoretical model, and how literature plays a role in polishing our research domain or research problem by specifying that what model or what variables we are going to add in our research. And further, what kind of variables are there, like mediating, moderating, independent. So what other classification is given for the variables in the what you will say statistics or in research design. So till now we have covered till here. So if anyone wants to repeat anything or any query, I can quickly take query for that 2-3 minutes and then I can move further. So is there anyone?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I would like to ask one thing. The difference between independent and dependent variables, ma'am. Already you have explained, madam. I just want to know, suppose if you are giving training to employees to check the knowledge and the flexibility among employees, knowledge and flexibility both are dependent variables, but independent variable is training, no, ma'am?
Okay, you repeat your question, and if you have paper and pen with you, I would request you to write the line which you were saying to me. I would request you, please do that. Don't shy away. Please write that line. And then read. After writing that line, then read. It will make you more specific, because sometimes when we see, we keep on correcting our words, and when we are dealing with the research thing, it changes the meaning altogether. So what I will request you, you just write the line, right? And then tell me what exactly you are saying. Read from your writing only, not say it. So please do that 1 minute or 30 seconds small exercise. Please do that. And then when you are finished writing, then speak that line to me.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, after providing e-training, ma'am, I need to check knowledge and flexibility among employees.
What you have written, you please speak that line. What you have written, you please speak that line.
Yeah, to know the independent and dependent variables, ma'am. E-training methods, knowledge, flexibility. 3 things are there. So
knowledge,
flexibility.
and training program. See, sir, these are the 3 variables. Which be the independent variable and which one be the dependent variable will completely based on your research question, your research objective. Nobody is going to tell you which leads to what. See, if you want to see that does training the knowledge level of the participants, right?
Okay,
or skill set of the participant. Okay, so in that case, knowledge training kya hua? What will be the training? If
training independent variable hua, ma'am.
And dependent kya hua, sir?
Dependent knowledge ho gaya. I mean knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge or skill, whatever you want to know, or if you want to find out both, it can be done both, right? So you have answered your question. And if you want to see like that, which kind of skill set people requires training, right? So in that case, what would be the independent factors?
Independent variables, independent skills, what we want to provide.
Yeah, independent skills will decide whether this person require training or not. So training would be
dependent variable.
Dependent in that factor. So see, these two are same variables, right? But depending upon what we are trying to find out, depending upon what we want to measure, what is the objective of our study, it has changed the altogether game of independent and dependent variable. So similarly, a variable by birth कहते हैं, is not a dependent or independent variable. It's totally or mediating or moderating variable for that matter, or any kind of variable. It's your research objective, it's your research question, it's your study that gives him tagging of what that variable is. For example, as a male, you are having different roles. You are a friend, you may be a husband, you may be a father, you may be a brother, you may be a son. So what role you will play at that particular time, that will depend upon the situation. Na? You are having multiple roles in your life, or you are working as a professor, or maybe any other role. So again, this is the story of variable only. Whatever variable has any role, it can take any role. By default, it doesn't attach any role to it. Ki I am the independent variable in every study, I'll be dependent variable in every study. It's your objective, it's your research question which gives that variable a role, right? So you have to think in that perspective, what you are asking that particular variable to do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Give your answer, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Can I move further now?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So, see, every time, and this particular workshop in one session also, I got a query 2-3 times from different participants that what test, if we want to use this test. See, test is not the, main element on which you decide. You decide on two things. First, what is your research question or objective? And second is how you are going to measure that variable, the variable thing which we have, learned in previous session. Now, when we decide upon these two things, then nobody can tell us than the conditions, other than the condition that which test we are going to see. Once we have decided the objective and we have decided that how we are going to measure that variable, then we cannot change the test. No, I have decided this and then I have decided now I will do this. You cannot do that. If you are really interested in some test, I will suggest you make your objective accordingly and capture your variable accordingly. But once you have decided on objectives and if they are not in the line with the measurement, what you will say, analytical analysis tool, then you cannot go that way. So we will see what I'm trying to tell you. You will see in my later part of the slide. So first of all, for now, just understand what is the level of measurement. Matlab, what I'm trying to say, that I'm saying, okay, capturing the variable, measurement of variable. Yahan par level of measurement means how we can measure the variable. So for measuring a variable, there could be 4 scales. See, whenever we talk about measuring, counting, we use some kind of scale now. Without any parameter, are we able to measure? No. So that means we need to have some kind of universal thing or some kind of parameter, some kind of consideration, some kind of rules, some kind of considerations in our mind before measuring anything. So in research world, these 4 scales are widely accepted and people measure any phenomena either or of any what you will say, scale. It is not possible that you measure on all the scale. However, you can convert the scale, but at the same time, you don't measure on both the scales, right? So let's see some examples. So what you can see on my screen, are you able to see my screen first of all?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
See in my screen, IPL fever is there, so most of the pictures are from. Okay. What you can see? Anyone?
Cricket players.
Cricket players?
There are 7 players.
Okay.
And cheering the match.
Any other thing you are able to observe?
Jersey number.
Jersey number.
Yeah.
The order number.
And country number. In England.
Yeah. I'm more focused. There could be many things which we can interpret. Again, we have to focus on our, context, and the context or the
seems
why
wicket. They got wicket.
Yeah. So what I was saying that our concern is to my focus is the jersey number, right? So can you tell me that the guy which is wearing the 51 number jersey is of 51-year age than that 18 number jersey wala?
No,
No,
ma'am.
no,
That
no.
Not
guy
the
is
age
older.
actually.
This
It's
is
the
not
number
age.
only.
What is this?
It's the
Number
number
according.
only.
It is a number.
It says something, na? What is this?
It's the jersey number.
What does jersey number depict?
Might be his rank or.
A specific
No,
number
no, no.
for every player.
And it's just the label.
It's just a name.
Label.
Yeah, identification number you have given. Just say we have our roll number. It has nothing to do with our capabilities. It's just an identification number in numeral codes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Why we need
Yes,
to give
ma'am.
that? Because it's very difficult to read a name. You know, when they are doing commentary, and from far, it's very difficult to understand who is running, who is doing. So maybe number easily catchable. So that's why uniform everyone in every cricket this thing or any sports generally jersey number is given to them so that they can see from the far that which jersey number and they use same jersey number every year. ऐसा नहीं है कि तेंदुलकर 10 पहनता था कभी और फिर कभी कुछ और पहनता था. It's not like that. But in research it's nothing. But when we say that number change नहीं करेगा, that means in particular that study that variable will not change the number again and again. And what I'm trying to say, I'll show you while doing the practical part. What does I mean? That while wearing this 51 jersey, number jersey, this guy will not wear 57 number jersey in the second half. Will he do that? What I am trying to ask you is, right now they are bowling, right? He's wearing 51 jersey. Let's say when he comes to batting, will he wear 57 number jersey?
No, ma'am.
So that means identification will remain same in the one game throughout the day, or maybe in that context for whole life, but in our context maybe throughout the study, right? So when we are the numbers given to any particular variable are just the identification, nothing beyond that. This kind of level is called nominal level, right? So basically we just diversify or or maybe categorize watertight compartment में we want to put the things. This is X, this is Y, this is kitchen का सामान, this is bedroom का सामान, this is study course book, this is our light books, this is our routine clothes, this is our functional clothes. Categorize कर देते हैं हम, right? It doesn't mean that functional clothes have more value in our wardrobe, right? Our daily clothes. No, it depends upon what we need, but when. Similarly, in research, when we categorize something, and there is no priority, there is no superiority of one variable over other. Like here, no player is superior to other in terms of jersey number. Maybe when we compare their performance, there would be some would be higher, having higher betting run rate, something like that, right? But when I am comparing their jersey number, I cannot say that X player is better than Y. Are you getting it? So this is the minimum level, lowest level of the measuring a phenomena. And when we are doing any nominal level measurement other than count and percentage, we cannot do anything else. No other statistical function we can perform. Simple measure of central tendency and variances, standard deviation we can find out, maybe in some cases, but not in every case. But generally count and percentage is main in case of nominal level. Now second picture. But you can see from this picture.
The order. It is the ordering which is being done.
Yeah.
First, second, third.
So is it okay? जिसको जहाँ मौका मिला, that guy got grabbed that place, or there was some reason behind this particular ordering?
Reason behind. There is a reason.
There is a rank, na? Somebody have scored better than other, right? So So that means when we are able to identify some kind of ordering in our data, we are talking about ordinal level data, right? So it is higher than the interval level, definitely, because in nominal level, we will find out that two people are different. We were not able to identify in nominal scale that which one is better, right? But when we are doing ordering, we went one step ahead. Definitely, there are three categories, 1, 2, 3. But one more information we are giving, that first is the best category, second is the medium level category, and third is the lowest level category. So one additional information we are able to drive out of this particular information. So that's why it is higher than the sorry, यहाँ पर nominal level आएगा, interval level गलत लिखा हुआ है, right? Then somebody is doing something on paper. What he or she is doing?
It is finalizing the answer of questions.
They are choosing some options, some given they are showing whether I want A, B, C, D, something like that, right? So basically here I am talking about the interval level. Maybe the picture is not very perfect for the interval level, but whatever perception, whatever जब हम scale पे कुछ measure करते हैं, like 1 to 5 scale, maybe 1 to 7 scale, we give some kind of preference to one number. ठीक है? Ordinal की एक और चीज I really want to add, that in ordinal we know that 1 is bigger than 2 and 2 is bigger than 3, but it doesn't really give the equidistance thing. For example, maybe Olympics की बात करें, maybe that guy which came first, maybe 2 seconds earlier than the second one to finish the race, right? So that's why he managed to become first and other second. Maybe the third guy was 30 seconds late than the second guy, but still he managed to get the 3. So if we see distance wise, the distance of first and second is just 2 seconds, and from 2 to 3 it's 30 seconds, but it doesn't make any difference. What does it make difference? That who has finished first, then who has finished second, and who has finished third. So that's it for the ordinal level data, that your distance needs not to be equal. Equidistance hona is not important, is not necessary. It can be not. But in nominal data, if we are saying that 5 and if we are choosing 1, so definitely some order is there. But one difference is there, that in interval data, the distance is also equal. That's why I'm saying 5 point scale, 7 point scale. So if I'm saying that all set very satisfied to satisfied, I'm saying 1. So difference from satisfied to neutral is also one thing. So how it is superior from ordinal, that we can make out on differences also. But at the same time, it has one limitation also, that it doesn't have any zero. For example, what you will say, that if I say today temperature is 0, so does that mean there is no temperature today? There is, but that number 0 is arbitrary 0 number, right? Similarly, there are certain phenomena where actually 0 doesn't lie. When I say, for example, research perspective, we see it. If I mark neutral, does that mean that I don't have any opinion? Does that mean I don't have any opinion?
Yes, ma'am.
Having no opinion is also opinion or not? Having no opinion is also a kind of opinion. Like when I choose not to take any decision, then definitely not to taking any decision is also a kind of decision. Real 0 nahi hai, right? For example, if I say I don't earn anything, that means my income is zero. मतलब नहीं कमाती तो नहीं कमाती. That is real 0. Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
हाँ. So difference between interval and ratio scale में क्या है? See, जो आपका nominal and ordinal था. These are low level scales जिनको हम non metric के नाम से भी we know those two kind of categories as non metric also. The difference between nominal and ordinal is in nominal there is no superiority or कोई comparison नहीं है. In ordinal there is some kind of comparison is there, some ranks are given, some comparison are always made. One is always better than another, right? Maybe the distance is not equal, but some betterment is there. Nominal is third level of category, which comes under the metric data category. For metric, we have two categories, interval and ratio. Now in interval, what is the problem? Actually, interval is also one kind of ordinal data, but when we use it collectively, it becomes metric data. See, when I'm saying dissatisfied to satisfied, so definitely satisfied is having more ranking and dissatisfied has less ranking. So order is there, right? But the problem is that we take a summated scale, जो Likert scale में we talk about that. So जब we combine it, then it makes it a metric data, a number data, right? And the difference is that, but in interval ratio, there is no zero. So many operations cannot be performed on this particular data, right? Ratios we cannot do on that, right? Ratio. As I have given you the example of my income. If I say I don't have any income, that means I don't have any income. If I say I have not spent anything, that means I have not spent anything. I have zero bank balance. It can happen. Yes. You cannot say nahi, you don't, aisa ho hi nahi sakta, you have some bank balance. If I say that I have not taken any formal education, it can happen. Yes. Right. So where you can give the exact information, exact number, that is your ratio level, which can be measured on the scale, right? Like this is the absolute zero का notion exist करता है यहाँ पर. Measure, we are doing measuring nominal also. The major difference between nominal and ratio is that existence of zero. In nominal, in interval scale, we don't have zero, while in ratio scale, we have zero, right? This is the basic difference between them. Otherwise, from statistics, from SPSS point of view, both these ratio level as well as this interval scale, both are considered as metric data. And all the operations which we can do on ratio, we can do on this interval scale also, but few mathematical things like we cannot do that x divided by y on interval on your interval scale, while on ratio we can do that. Like the difference between 5 divided by 10 will always be 1 by 2. So this is the ratio scale. So let's conclude this particular scale thing. See, this is the minimum level of nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio. I take one example, it will be more clear to you. See, let's say if I ask you what is your age, okay, questionnaire में Likert अगर individual statement एक question आया, let me address that. Likert scale, if we are taking only one statement, right, then it is ordinal. But when we are in reflective scale, we are taking 3-4 statements, then when we use that summated scale, it becomes interval scale. Okay. Now ratio. See, I was giving you one example. Ratio. Let's say you are capturing age in your this thing questionnaire. So if that person, what is your age, you are simple asking, then you are finding out the ratio data. He's writing 35, 30, 25, whatever his age. Interval ratio is that when you are not directly asking him what is your age, maybe you are asking in 10 different ways. That do you go to school? Yes. Do you go to park? Yes. Do you eat candies? So you are trying to infer ki ye do you stationary more often? When you ask different kind of question just to identify the age of the person, and you are not straightway asking the question, that means, and when you conclude it, that person is going to school, that person is using more of the stationery, that person has exams. So you may conclude that okay, that person is maybe school going or college going student. So you can infer some kind of age. So wahan par interval ratio, that directly you are not asking, but through different statements you are inferring that. So that means you are using interval scale. Ordinal scale means age mein hi you are giving between 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Here, ordinal scale, definitely 0 to 10 is less than 10 to 20, 20 to 30 is more than 20 to 10 to 20. Nominal scale, age के case में possible नहीं है, right? You cannot say whether you have age or no age. So nominal is something like आप gender के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, male, female, that is nominal. Categories, age के case में nominal नहीं हो सकता है age, right? So ordinal something is there. So that depends. जरूरी नहीं है हर data सब कुछ हो, but the thing is that few data can be captured in two ways. So it is highly advisable that you should capture in it in a higher scale. For example, age को either we can ask as an ordinal or we can ask as a ratio. Ratio में we will see your age that person will fill. And ordinal mein we are not exactly asking the age, we are asking the slabs. So definitely from ratio we can make slabs. After getting all the data, we can say, okay, our 50 respondents are between 20 to 30, our 10 respondents are between 30 to 35. But when you have ordinal data, like 10 respondents between 20 to 30, you cannot convert it in ratio. But from the ratio data, you can convert it in ordinal. It's not necessary that each and every phenomena can be captured in all four scales, as I tried for interval, but आप age कभी भी इस तरीके से नहीं पूछते हैं जिस तरीके से I have tried. So definitely we don't ask that way. Either we ask in an ordinal way or in a ratio way. Nominal and interval age के case में we cannot put. Are you getting it? So that depend upon the phenomena what we are capturing. Now if you remember, चलिए कुछ exercise कर लेते हैं. So that I should, we are on same page and I should get that comfort. Let's, question is there in front of you. Are you able to see my?
One question.
Yeah.
If I am taking the rating of the movie, then what scale it will be considered as?
Can you come repeat again?
If I am taking the rating of the movie, then what
Uh-huh.
scale it will be considered as?
It is ordinal, sir. It is ordinal. Ranking ordinal. आपको मूवी को स्टार देना है. So you have thought कि if somebody will tick 7, that means he is liking it more. Then if one is ticking 5, that means he is giving 5 star to that movie. That means he is liking little less that movie. So this is ordinal completely.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So can you read the question? How long ago were you released from the hospital? Now, what kind of data you think it is? ये जो answer whatever question will come, what kind of data it's going to give us?
Nominal data.
Think again.
Ratio, I think, madam.
It would be?
Ratio, I think, ratio.
Yeah, it would be ratio. Because exact number we are getting, and if we are not in the hospital, it would be 0. Right?
Yeah, it may be 5 days. Yeah.
Anji?
Okay, okay. It's okay.
It cannot be nominal because no category as such is there, na?
Yes.
Now, which type of unit were you in for most of your stay? So there are certain units given. What kind of data it would be categorized?
Nominal.
Nominal.
Yeah, because intensive care is totally different from maternity and medical unit and pediatric and surgical. You cannot say this unit is better, that unit is less. And one at the same person won't be at one time, at given point of time, one can be in one unit, right? So it would be nominal. Both are different, but both are not comparable also. Now, next question. In choosing a hospital, how important was the hospital location?
It can be ordinal.
Anyone else?
This
It
is the
is
ordinal
inter-
data.
Sorry?
Interval.
This is interval.
No, interval hota agar if I would have asked many equations of this thing, many statements. I just asked one statement, na?
Yeah, it is ordinal, ma'am.
Ordinal.
It is ordinal. Ordinal.
Yeah, because I am asking just one statement, right?
Ordinal, ma'am.
Sorry?
Ordinal, ma'am. Ordinal.
Yeah. Sometimes it hangs it in between and it's not let me go. Yeah. How serious was your condition when you were first admitted to the hospital?
Ordinal, ma'am.
Yeah, it's ordinal. Because we can compare the situation. Rate the skill of the doctor.
It is also ordinal.
Ma'am, in nominal, ma'am. Nominal, ma'am.
Nahin, this is ordinal.
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 You can compare, na? Excellent or poor ko you can compare, na?
Yes, ma'am.
So ordinal. So if you remember that in last session, I have shared you to choose a tool based upon your objectives. Now I am coming up another kind of classification which is based on your data on which you choose. See,
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt in between. Pooja ma'am, yeah, ma'am, can I ask one query?
Sure,
ma'am, like if I want to see whether age and your choice of music are they related with each other or not, then in this case, if I am dividing the age into different kind of groups, like it could be 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years.
Definitely.
So will they not be considered as categories? Means will they be considered as nominal over here, or they will be considered as the ratio data or
it would be it not the ratio because you are not because you have already divided it into categories, right? So whether it is
yes,
ordinal,
so
nominal, both ordinal and nominal have categories, right? So it has been decided first of all, it is not ratio, it is not data, this is non-metric data. First thing we have decided. Now when you are dividing certain things categories, please just think about that, whether you can compare these category on any parameter or not. Parameter means real parameter, not your perceptions. Like you cannot compare those.
Side mein
Say one is high and other is small. Working, non-working. You cannot say working are better, non-working are not better. You cannot say that. Right? But you can compare the income. You can say always 10,000 wala is earning more than 5,000 wala. Right? So in that case, categories are there income ka. But the data would be, even if it is categorized, it would be ordinal. So when you are saying that I am dividing the age categories into 0 to 10.
So ma'am, age,
yeah, ma'am, please continue.
Ma'am, I think the connection got lost. I couldn't hear the last line.
So what I was saying, Hanji, now you can hear me?
Hanji ma'am, bole.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
What I was saying that in both cases, whether it is nominal or ordinal data, definitely we have categories. No issues in that. But we need to think, even if we have category, can we compare in between the categories? So like age, we can compare the 10-year kid with 20 years in that sense that 20 year is big than the 10. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
But when I am talking about male, female, working, non-working, I cannot say this is big or this is small.
Okay, they are mutually exclusive otherwise.
Yeah. No, mutually exclusive to ma'am ordinal mein hai.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
It's not that case. Categories ban gayi to definitely exclusive pe hi bana hai. Right? Key lies here is that whether you can compare between the categories or not. Smoker and non-smokers ko I cannot compare. But what I can compare, whether that person smokes 10 cigarettes in a day, 20 cigarettes in a day, 30 cigarettes in a day. So that makes it ordinal.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
10 cigarettes, 20 cigarettes. When I'm asking just smoker and non-smoker, nominal data. But when I'm saying, do you smoke 0 cigarette? Do you smoke 0 to 10 cigarette, 10 to 20, 20 to 30? It makes it ordinal data.
ठीक है मैम. Okay, thank you मैम.
Clear?
Okay, thank you मैम.
Yeah, thank you. Now, in last session, we discussed the test based on the objective. But I told you this is the half cake. Now, another half I am presenting right now. But still, it's not a complete cake. That is the first aspect. This is the second aspect. Now, what is the second aspect? एक क्वेश्चन में ले लूं पहले. Is there any concept of merging the scale and then coming up with a single term? For instance, order? No, nothing of that concept. ऐसा नहीं है मैम. We can change the scale. Ordinal, maybe हम sometimes we ordinal से and change भी हम lower से upper से lower पे जाते हैं, lower से up नहीं जा सकते हैं. Like I told you, ratio से age का ratio data we can convert it in ordinal, right? But we cannot get ordinal data converted into ratio because we are lost of the information ना, नहीं है हमारे पास. How can I say that between 30 to 35 के जो मेरे 50 respondent थे, 5 were for 31 years, 10 for 32 years, I cannot say. On the other hand, if I get some information that from 30 to 35 years I have 10 respondent and इतना का इतना particular age होगी, तो I can classify them. So from higher end data, let's say ratio in that case, we can go to lower version of data, but from lower to higher we cannot go, right? Smartphone में आप push button phone का काम कर सकते हैं, but push button phone में you cannot do smartphone work. Take it in that sense. Okay, now when we are talking about this descriptive statistics is totally based on how you capture the data, right? How you capture the data. Like if you are capturing the data nominal, Dactomus का मतलब that nominal data which has only two categories, like yes, no, okay, smokers, non-smoker, या तो कोई smoker है या कोई non-smoker है, बीच का smoker कोई नहीं होता है, right? So either you say one person is smoker or a non-smoker, or working or non-working, right? So there some kind of nominal data has more than these categories also. जैसे अगर आप non-working में भी करना चाहें classify retired हो, then और अगर married or unmarried में you want to add divorcee or something like that, ठीक है? So you can add multiple categories also. So वो that would be only nominal, पर इसमें Dactomus भी एक तरह का quality होता है, that is also nominal kind of thing only, right? Then ordinal data and normal data. Normal means your metric data. So when your data, when we are plotting something, when we really want to plot some graph, if we nominal data, we can find out frequency distribution, and that is true for all type of data. We can make frequency distribution of every kind of data. Bar chart we can make of nominal. Dactomus जैसे मेल फीमेल का जनरली हम बना देते हैं. नॉमिनल में अगर हमने एज का कैटेगरी बनाया हुआ है और उसको हम ले गए, एज का नहीं, आप कोई और एग्जांपल ले लें, एज का यहाँ पर आ जाएगा, राइट? नॉर्मल में अगर मतलब आपका मेट्रिक डेटा है, हिस्टो इसमें ओके है, बिकॉज इसमें वी वुड लाइक टू सी हिस्टोग्राम, बिकॉज डेटा जब आपका मेट्रिक होता है, नॉर्मेलिटी की हम बात करेंगे, यू विल सी इन लेटर पार्ट व्हेन वी आर डूइंग द टेस्ट कि what is the histogram and bar. So bar is simple when two bars are different, histogram they are joined together. So for normality we use histogram always, not bars. Then frequency polygon, you know that the center point को attach करके we make a frequency polygon. It is possible in the case of histogram only, so only metric data will be able to do that. And box and whisker plot will also be done in the either ordinal data or in the nominal data, this interval or ratio data, not on the nominal data. Going further, if you want to apply measure of central tendency like mean, median, mode, if your data is nominal, then you cannot find mean, median and mode. See, अगर मेल को कोडिंग दिया आपने 1, फीमेल को कोडिंग दिया 2, तो क्या आप उसका mean, would you able to find out the mean 1.5? Will it make any sense? What does you want to say? What do you want to say? Nothing. So there is no point of doing that. Dactomus के कुछ एक situations हो सकते हैं where you can apply and where you cannot apply. So some cases are there, but not every. So यहाँ पर Dactomus का मतलब basically ordinal में normal category से भी है, जैसे age का category, right? Then ordinal of ranks, we can do that. Mean of ranks we can find out. जैसे हम combined rank में या when ranks are tie rank होता है, we do that, average निकालते हैं. Then nominal data में definitely. Similarly for median and mode. Now variability के measures भी, अच्छा, this particular tables which I am showing, this is for the descriptive statistics only, not from the higher statistics. Okay, it's from that angle. For higher statistics, we will see another table. So for variability, it is range. Then dichotomous we can give the range. Yes, in ordinal, and nominal में it's always yes. The interquartile range में, then how many categories we can give? Nominal में दे सकते हैं, और dichotomous है तो there would be always 2 category. Ordinal में we can give okay, but nominal data में it never makes a sense to give the category because there is no as such category, you know that. Similarly for skewness, for nominal and dichotomous there is nothing related to skewness, but in ordinal we can say that where mostly people lie, and in perception also we can tell where people are most likely to give their perception or their, what you will say, what's their view. So skewness can be there in these 2 parameters, but not on nominal and dichotomous. Now this is the complete cake in your platter. When you know that your data is metric, when you know how many independent and dependent variable you have in your objective, and you take the combination of both things, and then you decide whether which test I am going to apply. So you can see that table, and you have to be very much thorough with this kind of tables. If you cannot learn it, but at least you should consult this kind of table before what you will say, before taking any decision regarding what test you are going to use, right? So one independent variable, that means from objective, from where you will find out how many variables are there and which one is independent, which is independent. Definitely when you will think about your objective, the first thing, the first pillar of deciding upon the test. And what second pillar kya hoga? Second pillar would be whether you have captured data in a metric way or a non-metric way, right? And other than that, there would be other consideration also, that whether you have, if you have captured metric data, whether it was normally distributed or not normally distributed. So this would be the another reason, but that is related with the measurement only. This metric and non-metric will decide upon the normally distributed, not only in the case of metric you have to think about the normally distributed or not normally distributed. In case of non-metric, there is nothing called normally distributed. We will see what is this normally distributed thing, but for now you just understand that thing, that if we have one independent variable and one dependent variable, and from where we will find it out? We will find it out from our objective itself, that if we have one independent variable and one dependent variable and we have metric data, which is then we will use simple regression. If we have non-metric, then TZ one way ANOVA. Similarly, different combinations are there. There is no point of reading this particular table because you can see, you can analyze it later on for your own reference. So you can see that for multiple regression, we need to have metric data. We have to be more than one independent variable, but one dependent variable. So these basic things you need to understand, because we are going to cover these tests. So that's why I'm pointing out on these particular tests. It's a TZ and one-way ANOVA. The data should be metric, first of all, right? Dependent variable should be metric. Independent can be non-metric. Independent should be non-metric and dependent should be metric. So you have to see in that sense that when my independent is non-metric and my dependent is also non-metric, then I'll move to the KS sample test and U-Whitney, Man-Whitney U test, H test. That means alternative of ANOVA and alternative of t-test, U and H, right? Median, 2 sample KS, chi-square basically. So those will be covered here. if my dependent variable is non-metric, not normally distributed, but my independent variable is metric, I'll be using simple regression. That means irrespective of my dependent variable, whether it is normally distributed or not, I can use regression. So we need to be clear that whenever we are using the regression, we need to see the normality of independent variable, not the dependent variable, first of all, right? And when we are using ANOVA or T, we need to see the normal distribution of independent variable, not the dependent variable, because independent variable is majorly deciding what kind of test we are going to use. Got it? So this is very detailed kind of table, and much more to that. ये repeated measure का है. Like इसमें से one repeated measure we will do for pair t-test, but otherwise we are not going to cover all these things. So for this particular research sessions with this particular thing, we will be focusing on T, Z, ANOVA, U, H, correlation and regression. So this will be covering. So you just focus on this part only. Right now I'm moving further. So I have some, again, some exercise, because sometimes we get confused on that thing only. So just for the sake of a little exercise, please tell me that gender को अगर हमें, हमारा metric में आएगा, किस तरह का data होगा? Gender is what here? Gender is what kind of measurement we are doing? Nominal, ordinal, ratio, interval, what we are doing here?
Gender is nominal.
It is nominal data because we have categorized.
Very good.
Nominal
Gender is
data.
nominal. Question number 5. How many years have you been teaching?
Ratio data.
Ratio data. Very good. Then in a typical week, how many days do you teach English? Come on.
Ratio only, ratio.
Week, how many days do you teach English?
It's interval, ma'am. It's interval. Interval.
This is
Interval.
interval. Any other like to give a try? This is not interval.
Madam, nominal,
ratio,
nominal.
ratio.
Actually.
Ratio, I
ratio.
think.
This
It
is
is nominal.
ordinal.
Zero days also.
This is ordinal. This is ordinal. This cannot be nominal. You can compare 0 with 1. Na? Kitne days padhate ho? Can't you compare?
Yeah, yeah.
We can compare, na?
Yes, ma'am. So it is ordinal.
Ordinal. Okay. Now move to okay. Just give me a second. I've skipped many slides. I just wanted to show you something. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Interest.
Yes.
Now, what kind of data it is?
It is like Likert scale.
Likert type scale. Okay. कौन सा scale बोलेंगे इसको? मतलब कौन सा मैंने I have nominal scale data, then ordinal, interval or ratio. What kind of data it is?
This will be interval.
This interval.
Interval.
This is
interval.
interval.
This is
Yes.
interval.
Okay. Because interest I am finding out by submitting the scale. See, individual, if there would be one statement, I make myself prepared for the maths. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Only one statement would have been there. It would have been ordinal, right? But we have collective statements. Now it would be, because when I will impute the value of interest, I will take out one value from after imputing. Software will do that for me, but I will be getting one value. So in that case, the interval. Okay. Now go me back. Let me go back. And now these are few examples of hypothesis. जैसे आपने that you have seen in objective वाला, that there is no significant difference influences between demographic profile of the respondent and level of exponent. One more thing I really want to add, though I have not made any PPT of that thing, but I may discuss. So there are generally two kind of, broadly we can categorize hypothesis in two types. One is null hypothesis and another is alternate hypothesis. And even in alternate, we have two, directional and non-directional. So null hypothesis means we are saying that there is no difference of anything. There is no impact of anything on anything, right? As they are saying that there is no significant factor influences between demographic profile of the respondent and level of acceptance towards privacy with reference to customer behavior and satisfaction. It's very big. I'm not able to understand what that guy has written. Second, there are no significant drastic difference between customers' behavior and satisfaction with demographic factor on online service. See, I'm not going into the English of this person because this is the excerpt of some PhD. So I'm not going into that, what is right, what is wrong, but we try to analyze it in our way. So what I'm trying to say is we are trying to give null hypothesis that there is no impact of satisfaction, consumer behavior and satisfaction with the demographic factor. ऐसा नहीं है that demographic factors impact your satisfaction level, right? So in this particular statement, objective, what are the two variables? Forget about behavior. Think about satisfaction. Anyone? Anyone?
Yeah, ma'am, it is consumer behavior and online
Satisfaction
shopping
is one
services.
variable. Forget about behavior. I don't think so that it should be written here, but anyhow, consumer satisfaction.
Satisfaction and online shopping services.
And demographic factors, sir. Two variables are there, demographic factors. Collectively, they have taken many, but in general, they will analyze it one by one, but I don't know why they have given the combined. Now, these are the flaws which you should refrain yourself in writing while this is. Can you simultaneously find out the demographic factor? You will take one by one. Na? So they have combined it in the hypothesis. In objective, definitely they can do it. In research question, definitely they could do it. But while framing the hypothesis, you should refrain yourself in framing that kind of hypothesis. But if you get significant difference between the gender, but you don't get any significant difference between the age, then whether you are going to accept this hypothesis or reject. So this is a not appropriate formation of hypothesis. That's why I showed it to you.
Sir, madam, just one question. So
yes,
for each demographic variable, there should be one hypothesis, I think.
Definitely, sir.
Okay. That is
because in that situation, how you are going to assess that which has impact? How you will decide whether should I accept it or reject it?
Yeah, very true. Because age, gender, location, profession, all this should be, demographic variable should be taken one by one actually in the hypothesis.
Yeah, and you have set different hypotheses. Maybe you can take it H1, A, B, C, D, but definitely you need to write it separately. You cannot combine.
Yeah.
Right. So, so hypothesis right now, वैसे H0 earlier we used to give, now तो we give alternate hypothesis, and there is a reason behind that, because when we give the literature review, we find out that there is some relation exists, right? We don't go कि there is no relation. Because we accept there is some relation, that's why we come up with theoretical background, and that's why we some model na. We presume some kind of relationship. So we generally don't give null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is by default, okay, back of the mind, but we test for the relationship. Earlier it was that we were with the presumption that there is no relationship, and then we used to accept or reject. But nowadays, what we are doing as subject progress, our research has also progressed. And now what we see that on the basis of literature, we are hypothesizing that this two variables have the relationship, right? And now we check whether on this sample, this relationship will work or not. So, right? So we never say that we reject the hypothesis. We should say we are failed to accept the hypothesis. There is difference. You're saying that this is not there, and other things I am not able to find that. So there it makes a difference, right? So only just because of one sample, one study at one small place with many limitations, with many biases, we cannot truly accept or truly reject some relationship. So इसका एक solution दिया scholars ने, जो big scholars हैं, जो big what you will say, which do seminal work. So they have suggested that for making any relationship, for establishing any relationship, the same researcher should do different studies using same parameters again and again. If every time result came same, then definitely he has some evidence to say that this relationship exists. But generalization we cannot make so loosely, because we have not taken into consideration biases, we have not taken into consideration extraneous variable, we are not doing experimentation. How we can establish the causation? Max to max, we can say that these two variables are relation, and these variations can be explained by this variable to this extent. But we cannot loosely say this is a cause and this is the effect. So this is the small things or small fine-tuning things which we need to take care while we are writing our paper. So that's why we always focus, or we should consult the papers written in very high impact journals, because they are very mindful with their words. They don't write anything loosely, because in research each and every word has a meaning. And you cannot say, nahi, mera matlab wo tha. You cannot say like that, because precision is a key in research. So you need to be very clear about your words also. So now this is the basic thing which we covered till now, basic in that sense, as far as theory is concerned. Now I'll be starting some practical aspect. So I know most of you know that data entry, but for those who don't know data entry, I'll be repeating it once, since I have to cover basics also. So nowadays, generally we used to have two methods of data entry. Either we used to do it through Excel and then import it into SPSS, or we used to do it through SPSS, or nowadays one more common method is there, that we make Google form and then we make some kind of we perform some kind of operation on that Excel sheet to make it appropriate to transport our it to our SPSS, and then we transport it to the SPSS. So very small exercise I'll be doing in front of you just to refresh, and I know many of you know it, but just I really want to show it for those who doesn't know it, right? So give me a few minutes and let me do this. So first of all, I'll be explaining a little bit rules about that. We know that we are dealing with the quantitative softwares. So every data which we are entering into the software, it should be numeric. There is no place of male and female. What software understands is 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. That number could be anything, but it knows the language of numbers only. You may have any coding in your mind, but software doesn't know it. Okay. Then each variable for each case or participant must occupy the same column in the SPSS data editor. Basically, ये data editor SPSS की है, but you know that Excel has given this kind of rules, and SPSS and every spreadsheet has followed that rule only. So you can say SPSS, you may say Excel, but generally in SPSS, if we see the format of SPSS, because ultimately we have to perform operations in SPSS, so that's why I've written SPSS. So in SPSS, each participant occupies the same column. If I am giving my information, I am the respondent of the questionnaire, so my whole information will be given to column A, right? If X person is filling any form, his whole information regarding each and every question will be filled in column B. We will do it, right? then all values for a variable must be mutually exclusive. That means I cannot write for a person 4,5. Do you like this? Always and sometimes. So you cannot write 3,5 that Pooja has said that sometimes she like it, always she like it. So one person could choose only one value for one question. It cannot be two values, right? Then each variable should be coded to obtain maximum information. We should try to code each and every information, and we should not, even if we have open-ended question. So in that scenario also, we should see our question, think that if there is any common connection is coming from those open-ended question, and if we put that information also in some category, we should use that. Otherwise, we should not waste that data. We should perform any qualitative study on that, maybe a small section of our research, maybe a big section of our research. That totally depends how much qualitative information, how much open-ended information you have collected. But definitely you try to convert all the information into the insights, right? Then each participant must be code or value for each variable. हर participant को एक ID generate करना चाहिए, so that we can trace that X person or the roll number has given this kind of response, so that if any discrepancy is there, if we have to reach that person, we can trace that person. Then apply any coding rule, but that should be consistent. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए while entering my data I am feeling female, you coded me 1, and while entering any other female data you thought nahi, I will change now my coding, now female will be 2. So for her you entered 2 for her sex determination, and for me you entered 1. So you can maybe remember that thing, but computer take one direction at one time. If you will change it, computer will, while defining the variable, whatever you have decided that computer to do that, computer will do in that way only. So you need to be consistent about your rules. So first of all, I'll show you theoretically that how to put information in Excel. See, it's not important and it's not necessary that you need to code in Excel, but there are few situations, and I will show you what are those situations when that errors you can be, you can be saved from making while you are entering in the Excel, and you can make similar error in Excel and in SPSS, and it cannot be reached. You cannot trace those errors very easily. So how Excel can save you in making some errors, I'll show you. So for data entry, mainly I need only 3 options. The first is fill option, the second is freeze paint, and third is data validation. It's very easy. It's a matter of 2 minutes only just to use this command, and these commands are very handy. So this is of validation actually. Okay. So I can show you, this is for validation, but before that I need to show you fill and freeze paints. So for that I need to open an Excel sheet. So let's say this is my Excel sheet. Are you able to see my Excel sheet?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we do, first of all, whenever we have some kind of data, we write respondent number 1, 2, 3. Why we write in this form? Because it would be easy to import in SPSS. If we write first number respondent here and his all response like this, so it will, it will be, we need to transpose it, because otherwise SPSS will not take it. So we need to, fill the information in the form of SPSS only. So what we generally do, we give it first respondent, second respondent, third respondent, and whatever, if we have 350 respondent, 450 respondent, so we in advance know how many respondents generally we have. So there is one way to do that. Other thing is that you can give a formula. Let's say you say Y, or you add some value and you give some kind of formula to it, or you can drag and drop it. So there are different ways to do that. There is one another way, rather easy way to do that. You use the fill series option. Okay, how we can do? You just write here 1. Okay, now go to home. In home, you can see this down arrow, right? This is fill series. This is fill menu. This down arrow, series. Now you want to fill the column, right? Because respondent, go to columns, and linear means we need to add 1. Step value is 1. You can, if you want to have jump counting, you can say 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to say. But if you write 2, so it will give all the odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7. But we need consecutive number. So step value 1. And I have to stop. Let's say I have 250 respondents, right? So what it will do? So immediately it will give 250. It was very easy. I think it saved a lot of time, because dragging sometimes take a lot of time. Sometimes it goes very down, फिर ऊपर, फिर नीचे. So it's very easy, very handy. Now similarly we have statements S1, S2, S2, S3. Now I want to drag this, because यहाँ पर numeric number नहीं है, alphanumeric है, so I have to do it like that, right? Now what happens if I fill data? So if I am writing some number, let's say 2, I'm just showing you what happens. So by the time you reach to the 22nd participant, you are not able to see for which statement I am filling the information, right? Similarly, if you code for this thing, so you don't know this rows occurred for which one. Of course, this is there, but sometimes one is gone for is, and some confusion can happen. So the idea is that we always want to see this thing, this pane and this pane simultaneously, so that we don't make any mistake, right? So one method is that to freeze the pane. Now, how can we freeze the pane? You have to put your cursor here, because where you will put the cursor, it will freeze the row above and column left. If I will put here, it will freeze this row and this row. But what we want to do, we want to freeze this particular one wala and this one wala. So I will put my cursor here. I will go to view, freeze panes. See, if I freeze row, it will only freeze row. Now this is freezed, but this is not freezed. Okay, you can see that this is not freezed. So similarly, if I say freeze column, the column will be freezed, but row will not. Unfreeze panes, and then again, what I will do, freeze panes. So it will freeze my this column, this row, as well as this column. And you can see one line is there, one fine line is there. Now you can see, and see, I'm going down, but I am able to see the statements. And even if I move here, filling all the statements, I know I am filling for respondent number 32. So this is very handy thing. Now this was the only for comfort. Now practical aspect, I tell you what happens. Sometimes you code 1, 2, simple, I'll do simple dot, 1 and 2, male, female, right? Or maybe 0, 1. And you are entering in spaces. And when you enter in spaces, let's say you enter 3. Spaces will not say no, don't take 3. It will code it 3. And it will show you there are 2 values which are coded 3. 50 are 1, 60 are 2, and 2 are 3. And by the end, when you will see your coding sheet, you will not make it out who's, and if you don't have ID, or if you have that kind of information that you don't remember kya tha. So it would be a tedious task to confirm that whether, what was it? And if you have done data entry from anyone else, it will become again a big problem. So this SPSS has one very good feature, that is of data validation. Now how we can do the data validation? First, we need to select the area for which I want to put. Let's say these are my 15 statements for 250. Let me clean this. Let's we have 15 statements for 250 respondents. So I will select this area and I will specify the values which will come under this. And one more thing, see, you can see I am going down, down, down. There is one shortcut of that. You put some delimiter here, like hashtag. And you can drag it, right? Now, if I go up and if I choose Control Shift arrow, so automatically it will go till there, right? So now what I have to do, I have to select this. Now I will go to data validation, and where is data validation? In data tab, you can see this small arrow and these two lines, and data tools is there. This is data validation. Now I'll go to the data validation. Now in data validation, I have to do certain settings. The first setting is that I am saying that I want to put whole number, which is between 1 to 5, because my data is on 1 to 5 scale. Input message is 1 is equals to very dissatisfied. I'm not writing complete just to save the time. The second is dissatisfied. 3 is equals to neutral. 4 is equals to satisfied, and 5 is equals to very satisfied. Now this will be the guide for the person who is doing. And error में अगर आप देना चाहें तो यहाँ पर you can say that if anyone is typing values other than 1 to 5, please type, yeah, please check once again. Anything, whatever you want to say. Okay. Now you can see that every time I am writing, so it is giving me the guidance. Can you see that? So it will stop you in doing the improper coding, because typing error it cannot stop, because if you can write 1 2 3 4 5, it will accept any value, but definitely it will not allow you to take 0 or any number beyond 1 to 5. It won't allow you. So sometimes you are in hurry, you type 15 or maybe anything. Sometimes we put hand on any number, so it will maybe stop us from doing that. So you can do it for anything, for male, for gender, for demographic, you can do anything. It's not that it's going to be, the method is also same. You have to define it in the same way. Let's do it with the marital status. Let's say married, unmarried. Okay. So again, Control Shift down, right? Data tools, data validation. Now settings, any value, whole number between 1 and 2. Let's say I want to say 1 is unmarried, 2 is married. Okay, input message, 1 is equals to married, 2 is equals to unmarried. Then error alert, please check. I'm just writing about thoda brief. Okay. Oh, I have given the space, so it's showing like that, but let's say, so it's not accepting. So I have to be within that, otherwise it won't accept. So this is the data validation thing. I hope you have understood. Any question till now?
Ma'am, just one question. Where you kept the cursor while making on marital or where?
No. While making this this thing.
Yeah.
You can see, you have to select that column for which you have this information. For these columns, na?
Okay.
So one way is shift and down arrow, but I have put that hashtag. I can simply press Control Shift and down arrow. So it will automatically take me to the, sorry, control, shift, down arrow.
Okay, madam.
Okay, and here you see this. So if I will not choose it, automatically it will take it only for one column.
Okay.
Right? In that case, you have to drag it again.
That's a very hectic.
That is again, we are going back to that procedure. Right? So this is quite useful because it will stop you in entering any other number other than code. Definitely, you can enter still 2 in the place of 1, 1 at the place of 2. But think about those errors which we could make by entering 22, 10, 11, 12, anything, or any other number. At least it will stop. And second, if we are outsourcing this kind of work, coding work, to anyone, and this you have to do only for the offline questionnaire. For Google Sheet, you need not to do this kind of exercise, but if you have that offline questionnaire, and why I always prefer offline questionnaire, I will let you know. Because what I feel, when you do any pilot study, when you are just initially, you should always go for the offline survey, because then you need to talk the people can give you suggestions also, right? Abhi hota kya hai, we simply finalize a questionnaire, we show it to our guide, and our research guide also feels it okay, but we don't know whether how effective this particular exercise would be, and we float our questionnaire everywhere. Then we think, oh, we have missed this information. So we have already received 60 responses because our push factors, and now we are adding some variable. Now it becomes difficult to float it again and to separate sheets. Some data is there, some data is not there. So for multiple reasons, I always try to use, at least in my pilot study, the offline questionnaire, because you can incorporate the inputs there and then also with paper and pen. If that you have not added this particular thing, so we can think about that, okay, we can add this, and what is your take on that? So it would be a little easy. So this Excel thing is required when Google form is not there, but when Google form is there, there is no need of doing this exercise. So that depends what you are doing. So this is just, I think, otherwise I really like this function, so that's why I thought of sharing it with you people. Now I'm moving to the second type of what you will see data entry thing, that is through SPSS, direct SPSS. So I am opening my one SPSS sheet. So this is the SPSS. Now, it has two windows, data view and variable.
And we can't see. I think you need to change the screen.
Yeah. Just 1 minute. I forgot. Visible now?
Yes.
So we have two screens. What I have done, I have just clicked my this SPSS toolbar, this icon, and I'm with this window. This window is in front of me. Now it is two editors there, two windows are there, data view and variable view. If you can see the difference, only the top, what you will say, row is different. Otherwise, everything is same. But what it is, this is showing me at 14 number row, my cursor is there. So it is showing the 14. So if I put it here, 1. Now variable. Now here you will define on what basis you are going to, do your, what you will say, coding, or how you will enter. So first column is always advisable to have the IDs, right? Type numeric, width 6, decimal 0, label none, missing, column, align, measurement this. Now you can see that by default, if you see, it will always give you 2, right? मैंने कुछ setting change किया, that's why it's coming 0. And यहाँ पर alignment आपका left generally आता है. So if you want to make it by default any other alignment, so how we can do that? So we go to edit, we go to the options, we go to the view, and यहाँ पर you, अच्छा, one more thing, if you have seen SPSS, function of SPSS, it shows all the previous commands also, and every software, most of the software show it by default. But sometimes it's so many commands, you just flown down with the so much data, so you can always uncheck it and you can hide it, right? These warning also you can make hide. You can find out center alignment, right? You can decide from here, and you can also decide upon the title of your tables, page title, how it's going, and how your output. You have one standard now, so you can change from here. The font size, it should become bold. Color also you can change. Always it is automatically black. We are in the habit of seeing that black. If you are really want to see it in red color, blue color, yellow color, whatever you want to have, you can change your color also. But we never use this kind of setting because they are just the cosmetic change, not exact change. But if you really want to play, you can play with your page title, with your font size, title ka, and these things, right? For decimals, I have done decimal is in data. So by default, it is always 2 if you check yours. So, but I have set it 1. And one more thing, I just forgot to use apply. So automatically, see, it went again to this thing. Log, I am unchecking hidden, and then I have to apply. And you can anytime again select it. If you find it key, it's hampering my work, here you can just think of reducing the decimal, because in cross-sectional data, we generally don't work on decimal. So, and later on, if you want to decide that I want to have, you can anytime again enable your settings. Okay. Baki or kisi mein you need not to do any kind of changes, because every other thing we need, right? So it was in data, apply, okay. Now one more thing, in view also, sometimes we have so many variables, like we know that we don't have missing, we are not going to use missing, we are not going to use columns, we are not going to use role. Role is whether variable, whichever variable you are entering, whether it is an input variable, means dependent variable, independent variable, whether it is a dependent variable, whether it is independent or dependent variable, whether it is none. So you can decide upon that, but generally we don't use this particular tab. So what you can do, you go to the view and customize variable view. Whatever variable you don't want, you can again uncheck it. Okay. Now you see that any table, any column which was not of my use has been deleted for me, because I don't use it, and then why to clutter my sheet. So I can do that. So this is for the Excel, and now I'll tell you how to do entry. Please give me 1 minute. I'm just taking water.
Ma'am, you are not audible to me right now.
Actually, I was not speaking. I was having water. So sorry. So now move. जैसे यहाँ पर label हमें देना है because this name is the for the computer. This name is for ourselves. It would be reflected in our screen, but it has this particular name has certain kind of limitation. Like it doesn't accept the space, right? So if I really want to add something in this particular ID, then I have to give it with the underscore. It won't accept any space in between, right? ID respondent, let's say I want to say. So if I write it like space, it won't accept. It will show the error. Variable names contains an illegal character. So it will take only underscore sign. Other than that, it will not take anything, right? So I can have gender, numeric type, numerical, width I can reduce and increase, but generally we have this much of value only. So label, gender, values, you have to define here that you will be saying 1 to male, or you can say 0 also. It doesn't mean that it doesn't take 0. You can say 0 also, 0 to male and 1 to female, or vice versa, anything. Or it's not necessary to have consecutive number. I can say 4 to male and 10 to female. It doesn't have, it's just the identity like jersey number. You can give anything. Okay. Missing ka you don't reuse. Scale, you know that it is scale. It is nominal. See, SPSS also helps you here. See, nominal, 3 balloons, 3 groups are there, but you cannot easily make out which one is big, which one is small. But in ordinal, categories are there definitely, but you can measure it, which one is big, which one is small, and scale is the measurement. So you can have different parameter, income, numeric, income, so let's say I have 4 category, or maybe see, if I have a ratio variable, then I need not to give values. Let's say I have open-endedly asked people what is your income. Then in that case, I need not to give any values. But I have made the category. Let's say I will give one value to the people less than 10,000. Then I will need to give this category. 2 is 10,000 to 20,000. And 3, let's say you add some, you enter something wrongly add, because it will not take 2 because you have already given 2, so it is not taking. But let's say, so if you add this, so ye bolte it is already existing, so you will change it. So let's say you by mistake type this. Okay. Later on you decide कि मुझे तो ये नहीं लेना था, right? So you can go, you can remove it. You can go, you can remove it. So to 10,000 to 20,000. So basically, whatever coding you are giving, you have to define it so that you can refer it later on. It's not compulsorily, but it will be always helpful to you, because we sometimes we forget what we have given. So it will be used as a reference guide. So, okay. So if I'm working on ratio, I need not to give anything. So I can choose to remove it. But if I am working on ordinal scale, I have to give this. I have to define the categories. Otherwise, there is no need. For any ratio data, I need not to define any value, because I don't know what value will come, right? Similarly, if you have statements, so let's say I have statement 1, numeric. I know, achha, yahan par you have to write, let's say, I love maths. So it will take space also. Label takes space also. You can do anything. It never hinders you on the words also, and you can anytime increase or decrease also. Let me show you. You can increase it also. Okay. So values: 1, never; 2, rarely; 3rd, sometimes, like that. Okay. 4th, mostly. 5th is always. So if someone is putting any value here, so now I want to put the data, right? So you can see I have given these 4 variables: ID, respondent, gender, income, and statement 1. Right? So you can any number of statements, but right now it's showing me that there are 4 of 4 variables. That means I have given the information of 4 variables, and now I can simply start typing. Now I will show you that what SPSS cannot.
Ma'am, there is voice problem from your side.
Sorry?
Ma'am, there is some voice problem from your side. Your voice is breaking.
एक मिनट, नेटवर्क में इशू आ रहा है, एक मिनट, just give me